afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm privileged to be here today. For my project this time, I interviewed some people in my home county, in Makueni, and I interviewed some people in Mukuru Kwaruben informal settlements. I wanted to see the perceptions of the privileged people to the less privileged people. I don't like to use the word rich and poor, but I'm just gonna have to use it. I'm Lawrence. I go to Turi. I'm 12 years old. I wanted to understand better of our society, partly because of my previous citizenship project. As you know, I was understanding challenges in the informal settlements. So for my objective in this project was to understand differences in our society, like of the rich to the poor and the poor to the rich, to understand what the rich think of the poor, their beliefs and perceptions, and to understand what the poor think of the rich, their beliefs and perception. To find out if all poor people think the same way about the rich and if all the rich people think the same way about the poor. To understand the gaps between poor and rich people, the differences they have, to find out ways we can bridge gaps or differences in perceptions and understanding in our society. For my data collection, I interviewed 7 people in Makueni and 8 people in Mukuru Kwaruben informal settlements. I also interviewed 5 people in Nairobi who make a lot more than the average income. These persons interviewed were both youth and middle-aged people, and also a mix of both male and female. As you can see there, that's a picture of Mukuru Kwaruben informal settlements. That's a picture of a rural home in Makueni. That's a picture of a rich home in Nairobi. I asked the people 13 questions, but as we don't have time, I'm gonna only tell you 5. These were the 5 questions I chose. Do you think there are challenges that the poor face that the rich do not? If yes, give 3 examples. Do you think the rich people take the poor as equal to them or as a liability to them? Do poor people think that rich people are hardworking? What else do you think poor people think of the rich? Do you think the rich have attained what they have by hard work or by inheritance? And what advice do you have for young people from poor backgrounds who are trying to improve their lives? These were my findings, but I'm not gonna tell you all of them because there's a lot. Most people interviewed from up country are farmers and a few doing other activities like cobbler and trading. And they make from as low as 3,000 shillings to 6,000 shillings per month. And imagine you have to feed a family. Let's say you have a family of 5, they have to go to school. So that money is not a lot. Most people from the informal settlements are involved in small businesses and some casual laborers, like they wash clothes for other people, they're maids. They make from as low as cash 5,000 per month to cash 31,000. 31 is like for the people who have small businesses for themselves, that they can help themselves. The average amount earned around 12,000 per month, like most people in the informal settlements. The more privileged people, the rich people interviewed in Nairobi are mostly big owners of big businesses or employed with jobs that pay well, starting from cash like 200,000 shillings per month. Like if you compare that to someone who earns 5,000, it's way off. All people from upcountry and the informal settlements agree that there are challenges that the poor face that the rich do not. The examples they gave me were lack of school fees, lack of food, poor medical attention. The rich also agreed there's challenges that the poor face that the rich people do not. The examples they gave were lack of opportunity, poor education, and when there's corruption, it affects the poor people the most because like the rich people can pay the bribes and do all that while the poor people can't. So they get affected the most. Lack of basic needs such as shelter and proper medical attention. A minority of the rich interviewed agreed that poor people, they think that poor people are lazy and irresponsible. They don't work hard enough. That's why they're not rich. While others believe that poor people are not necessarily lazy because, you know, like the rich people employ the poor people. The poor people are the ones which do the hard work in the companies for the rich people to get the money that they get. Like all the poor people interviewed believe that the rich think they're better than the poor. That's like from their point of view. That they think the poor are simply a liability. I think this is a big concern because like if let's say you are one of the poor people, you didn't like someone thinking of you like that. Most of you wouldn't like it. Rich, like the people I interviewed did not say they are better than the poor, but they admitted that some of their colleagues and friends think that they're better than the poor. Most poor people believe that rich people are hardworking. A few poor people do not believe that rich people are hardworking. Instead, that they're lazy and corrupt, and they get what they have from looting and corruption. Most rich people believe that the poor see them as hardworking, while others think that the poor do not see them as hardworking or as privileged than them. Both rich and poor people believe that lack of education and laziness are major causes of poverty. Do you guys all agree with that? Lack of education is one cause of poverty.
Yes.
Both rich and poor think that it is possible to become rich without education through hard work and starting up businesses, because like all minds are not the same. Like a poor person can come up with an idea that a rich person, an educated person could never have come up with. The rich and the poor agreed that the Kenyan government has put in places measures to eradicate poverty, such as free education initiative like self-help groups, creation of jobs to young people, easy access to credit facilities to start business. But I don't think this was like to all people, because like people in the rural areas, like let's say somewhere like Turkana, Samburu, like they don't get this stuff more like the same way Nairobi gets. Like Nairobi, they build roads, but then up there in Samburu, like Kipia, Makueni, like the roads are not well developed like Nairobi. Both the rich and the poor have some advice for young people from poor backgrounds. They should put in a lot of effort in education and at their workplaces. They should avoid use of drugs and alcohol. They should respect their parents and listen to their mentors. The key qualities some of them gave us were patience, persistence, and focus. From the responses I received during the interviews, I made the below conclusions. There's a big gap between earnings of the poor and the rich, and their lifestyles are also different. For instance, rich work long hours and they sometimes lack permanent friends, whereas the poor mostly work a few hours due to unemployment and tend to have permanent friends. Because like the rich try to find who they can trust, because like they think this person's gonna steal from me if I employ them. This person's not trustworthy, he'll be taking my materials home to sell. The challenges are basic, such as lack of food. Who here has gone a day without lack of food?
A day without food.
Not food.
Yeah, a day without food. There's none of you here. Just imagine you slept without food. You went breakfast, there's no food, you have to go to school, you have to study, you come home, you find no food, and then you have to go like find money for yourself to feed yourself, because like your parents are not able to feed you because there's no jobs. Most rich people work hard and a few inherit their wealth, but still need to work hard to keep the wealth they inherited. I think that most poor people genuinely work hard but do not make much fortune from their hard work, while only a minority are lazy. None of the rich people feel that they're better than the poor, but they admit also they do not necessarily believe that they have a responsibility to help the poor, because you have your money, you choose who you're gonna help. If you don't wanna help him because he has too many problems, it's your choice. Negative perceptions like that each group of people thought of the other group. Some of the poor people associated the rich with corruption and looting, whereas some of the rich associated the poor with laziness and dependency on other people to help them. For my recommendations, what I thought, the rich should not see themselves as better than the poor, because this will also help to reduce social barriers with like they won't be fighting. They should make an effort to meet or to go to a place where there's poor people, to understand the challenges that other people face that they've never gone through, and see how they can help them. Poor people who have lost hope should learn some lessons from those who work very hard and have become successful in life. I'm not trying to say that poor people are not hardworking. They're hardworking, but then they just need to find a way they could learn from the rich. Rich people should avoid improper ways of getting wealth, like corruption. Like we have that mostly in Kenya. Like the government, you find your governor has been given money to help you, but then he puts 3/4 of that in his pocket for his own needs and forgets that there's other people out there who need to be helped. Young people who are poor can still make it in life by working hard, being patient, persistent, and focused, and also avoiding drugs and alcohol, bad company, people who will mislead them. The government to help narrow the gaps between the poor and the rich by providing access to quality education, employment opportunities, raising minimum wage, breaking social barriers, and tax the rich reasonably. Who here knows the minimum wage in Kenya for a person? Breaking social barriers will also help to eliminate some of the worries that the rich people face, like security and choice of friends. Thank you.